My daughter is 15 and 17. I work housekeeper during the day and such therapist in the evening. I want my daughter to go to a good university, but currently I don't have enough savings for it. Bank loan gives a loan for people like me. Only solution would be borrowing 5, 6 like a loan sharks. So I want to have my kids to have a good education.
My name is Joyce Akayan. I love to read books and I'm really passionate about learning. I am also amazed of how the human body works. So I would like to study medicine at University of the Philippines and become a doctor, considering the tuition fee. My parents, our family did not have enough money to send me to college.
Good afternoon, everyone. So Jackie and Joyce, they come from a country called Philippines. Some of you in the audience might have probably been there. Philippines, it's an interesting place. It's one of the largest countries in Southeast Asia, more than 100 million people. One of the fastest growing economies in ASEAN. But at the same time, this young population where average age is 23.5 years, which is 1/2 of Japan, has productivity levels much lower with GDP per capita of around $3,000, which is 1/10. Right? And as you can see on this picture, Philippines is a country of contrast, right? This economic development has been very unequal. And to develop any country, usually education is one of the cornerstones. So if you look on tertiary education, universities and vocational schools, a country like the Philippines has more than 30% dropout rates. What it means that more than 1 out of 3 people who are studying today will drop out and leave tertiary education, right? And at the very end, education influences income of the household. So if you look in absolute numbers of almost 4 million people who are studying in the Philippines right now, actually less than 1 million will graduate, while most of them will drop out. And then one reason is lack of money. They either don't have the money to study, or they have somebody in the family who got sick, which, long story short, means that they don't have money to pay for education anymore. Traditional players like the government obviously have budget constraints and they cannot solve the problem overnight. In case of banks, in the Philippines, more than 70% of people do not even have a bank account, right? So it's a very hard problem to solve for them if there is no credit history. And certain fintech players have been appearing in the last couple of years, but they usually target other niches. Now, how you solve this? So this is how a bank usually gives a credit to somebody. They would look on your income and then they would decide whether they can give you a loan or not. However, somebody walks into a bank branch and saying, I have computer science degree from University of Tokyo, which is a very good school, but I'm going to start making money in 3 months' time. It doesn't work for a bank, right? So in our case, we have to take a completely different approach, looking at what people study, which university, and the academic performance, in order to be able to predict whether they will be able to earn income in the future or not. So the product that we offer to students is, on the one hand, financing, to cover this work, to solve this working capital need, but at the same time, protection insurance for health and accidents, and at the same time, a pre-funded card for emergencies in case they have expenses they cannot afford overnight. So, on the tech side, this is how our app works. Right? Somebody would be using our application, use the credentials to log in, and they would be able, to complete different sections like personal details. I would choose a profile that I'm currently studying. And then I would fill out other data such as name, academic performance. My Wi-Fi is not very good. My full name, in this case it would be Vasil, and all other things. And once we fill out this, students would be able to upload their ID, their selfie with their ID for verification purposes, their resume, and their student ID. Right? So this is how we interact with our customers. So taking this technology aside, technology is just an enabler, but these are real people right now in a country that is one of the fastest growing economies in the world that have this financial issue in order to be able to access productive credit, which is education. So how we make money ourselves? I mean, obviously we charge an interest, 3% monthly. In a country like the Philippines, that's actually very affordable compared to informal lenders. We have an insurance distribution fee, pre-funded card, and most importantly, the hiring fee for employers, because in many cases, they suffer scarcity of highly qualified labor in the Philippines or potentially abroad. So in terms of go-to-market, we are talking about loans that are around $1,000 to $2,000 that have a tenor from 6 to 12 months. And the interesting part, or the part that we have been most focused on, is coding bootcamp, giving the most recent trend of technology development all around the world, where there's scarcity of people who are website developers, who are designers, data scientists, etc. So, I mean, fintech business, on the one hand, it's great because it's highly defensible and it's very hard for another player to come in. At the same time, for us to be able to launch, we had a very long list of to-dos, and we started this company with my co-founder 6 months ago. So we have filed already for the license. We have a partner bank who white labels cards for us, another insurance company who's a partner. We have partnership with both universities, schools, and employers established, and we have obviously the technology part covered. This would have not been possible without our team that has experience in both technology and credit in the Philippines and abroad, and our amazing group of investors and advisors. And to summarize a little bit, we are EduCredit.ph. Our job is to remove financing as barrier to access education. Some of you might have mixed feelings about this business. We made our choice that we really think that it's possible to change the world. So if you're an investor, media, or corporates, we'd be glad to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Vasil.